We are Gathering of the Geeks, podcast and YouTube show built around the things we as geeks all love. Hashtag we gather on Sundays. Thank you for checking out episode 4, the one where we discuss a beast called hype. I am one of your hosts, Emmet, and I am joined by the Ted Lasso to my coach Beard, Chris Evans. Chris, how are you tonight, my friend?
I can't complain. How about you?
I'm doing good. It was kind of a strange week. You know, we're almost our last show of January, which is kind of cool. You know, we started this in January. It's our 4th episode. By the time we do our next one, it'll be February. So our next episode will be our 5th episode. You know, who knows if that's even a monument to discuss, but you know, maybe it's something for us.
Well, I can say I'll see you next month.
So yeah, that's right.
I'll see you next month. We also have our brand new screen thing here.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what you call this, but our new layout.
It's a layout. Yeah, we'll call it a layout.
Screen thing layout. It's similar. Mm-hmm. Thank you to Cindy for making this for us.
Yeah, we're pretty much a work in progress. As we go along, things will change and things might look a little different. So yeah, thanks a lot, Cindy. Very big help for hooking this up with this cool little layout for us. Thank you to everybody in the chats so early already. Eric, Grabs, Cookie, Lauren, and up at the top was DC Patrol. Thanks so much for coming on, and Elle as well. Thanks so much for joining so early, even before the show even starts, just to have a little fun in the chats. That makes us happy as well, seeing everybody there. So guys, we're going to get into what we usually get into, which is our week kind of rundown, week in review. Let us know what you guys read, what you watched, what you guys got into this week. Grabs says he's a work in progress. Yeah, or your wife says you're a work in progress. Yeah, that's a common trend, I think.
I think we all are.
Sure. Yeah, everyone's a work in progress for sure. Chris, what'd you get up to this week, man?
I read Saga.
I did, yeah.
I did. I read Saga because I saw the hype for it. I know you were hyped for it. So I was like, you know what? I'm going to check out this goat people book. Alien goat people. So I did that. I read that. I caught up on some Marvel stuff. They launched a new Wolverine series this month from Benjamin Percy called the X Lives or 10 Lives of Wolverine. Then it's accompanied by X or 10 Deaths of Wolverine. They come out bi-weekly from each other, or like one week, sometime, whatever. I get scatterbrained with that. But so I read that. That was interesting. And
so it's like 10 lives, like he dies in every issue, or like,
you know,
how does that work?
I really have no idea. I read it. So you have the lives issue and the death issue are completely different. Like they have no connection really whatsoever. One of them feels more like a sequel to Inferno, whereas the other one, I don't even know what the purpose of it is yet, but I like it.
Okay.
It's something I'll keep reading. It's Benjamin Percy writing Wolverine, which I always enjoy. The only thing with his Wolverine that I've noticed throughout, since he's been writing the character, is he makes Wolverine a little bit smarter and more articulate than I'm used to.
Oh yeah, not just saying bub all the time.
Yeah, because that's what I'm kind of used to him. Hey, bub, I'm.
Yeah.
That's what he does.
Yeah.
But Percy's Wolverine, I guess it's because he's older. You know, this is not the younger Wolverine. Time has passed. So, of course, he may, pick up a few things along the way. Mm-hmm. I'm not complaining. I like it. It's just different. Yeah, I agree with Lauren. It is way better than I was hoping for, even thinking it would be, because they have not really said what this story even is. They've been very vague about it. So,
like where it's going to lead, you mean?
No, just what it is.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's been very vague. It's been more like, hey, look at this cool cover, which I'm a sucker for anyway. So of course I'm going to read it.
Yeah, that's right.
Give me a cool cover and I'm happy.
Yeah.
So that's kind of all I got up to as far as the reading part. I don't think I read anything else that I could remember right now. And then watching, I did finish Euphoria. I am all caught up for that.
Oh, wow. Nice.
Yeah, that
so
was
be able to watch episode 4 is tonight or episode 3?
Yeah, episode 4. I'm pretty excited.
4 is tonight. Nice.
Yeah, I'm invested in the characters now. Fez is the best thing.
So yeah, it's interesting that you didn't read a lot this week, and I am about the same. I read Saga 55. The big long return of Saga. So you're somebody who hasn't read episode or issues 1 to 54. What's your initial impression after reading issue 55?
It's a mixture of what did I just read,
Mm-hmm.
and I think I like what I just read. I'm
Yeah.
somewhere in that middle ground because
Uh-huh.
I don't quite get it, but I like it.
That's a perfect thing. Is you don't know what it is, but you like
Right.
what you're seeing. I think
I,
that's a perfectly. And after reading, I've read all 54 and 55 issues. I'm pretty much the exact same thing. I have no idea what's going on, what's going to happen, but it's incredible to read.
I'm kind of considering going back and reading the other issues.
Yeah, well, that's an easy recommendation for me is for you to do that. I know you're not the only one. Like I wrote a review for issue 55. You can read it at the gww.com, or you can hit the link in my Twitter bio. I wrote a review and I said exactly that. That not a lot of people, it being one of the most popular comic series ever, not everyone has read it. I know more than a couple of people that have not read it, you including one of it. And I know that L and Sergio from House of Nerd, L, who's in the comments, is the same. That they just haven't read it, or they haven't read all of it. So it's not uncommon that you haven't. But it being out of print for so long, like it's been such a long time since issue 54. It's not a weird thing. It hasn't been in the comic zeitgeist for so long. So you're not the only one. But I'm happy you did read it. I mentioned to you that, I'm just happy that you did read it. I asked you if you read it. It seemed like it was the biggest comic in the world that came out.
It did this
past week. It was everywhere, right? So
yeah, that's why I kept saying, it's like, okay, I guess I have to read this. And it's different, it's very different. Also, it's weird how it's like it has the kid stuff, but then it's got some other stuff toward the end. And now I'm starting to just grasp the concept that indie comics, it's like watching an HBO show.
That's right.
That's kind of what I've grasped now. Anytime I pick up anything independent, be ready for that.
Mm-hmm.
It's not going to surprise me anymore.
Yeah, we mentioned that last week when we were talking about Bolero #1.
Mm-hmm.
How it different that was in adult wise and rating wise. And I agree about Saga. It's got the goofy stuff. It's narrated by a 10-year-old girl, 10-year-old girl named Hazel. But in the background, her mother and father are constantly having sex and talking about sex. There's always constant visualization in a sexual nature. There's also incredible violence in every issue and throughout the whole series. So yeah, it and Brian K. Vaughan, who does this very well. Again, Paper Girls, another one, a teenage kind of story, but still deals with a lot of adult matters. Why the Last Man, same kind of thing. So yeah, he draws that line where it's got the I guess you would call it comedy to it.
Yeah.
But then it's also got the real world and even out of this world stupid and idiotic things that make the series. I think that's what makes it what it is.
It kind of feels like Star Wars to me, but like a different corner of the Star Wars universe, like one we haven't really seen a lot of, if that makes sense. With the way the characters are, and of course it's very sci-fi, and in the looks of certain characters, it just feels like that's what it reminded me of, like some kind of I don't know, just a corner of Star Wars, like that casino planet nobody liked, although this does look cool.
Casino Planet.
Yeah, I forgot what it was called. You know the one from Last Jedi? What was it?
Was it Kanto?
I was about to call it Banjo Kazooie. Yeah.
Canto Bite, isn't it? Or
I think you're right. It's Canto Bite or
right.
Canto Bright.
What awful!
It's
awful
definitely not Banjo Kazooie.
Yeah, that would be cool if it was Banjo Kazooie. Another interesting thing about Saga that I did want to mention, that it's the price of it. This issue, it was 44 pages, I think, and it's $2.99 American, which is like $3 and 25 cents, 50 cents Canadian.
It's one of the cheaper books on the market.
Yeah, it's going to continue like that. It's $2.99 solicited at least for the next 4 issues. There's not a lot of comics that are like that. Big name comics, oversized issue comics that are $2.99. So I commend Image. I commend Brian K. Vaughan, whoever's in control of pricing for Saga 55 and beyond, that making it that kind of price. I think that's very commendable that they did that, because the biggest thing in the world is everyone's talking about how much comic pricing has inflated over the years, and look no further than what Saga and Image is doing with Saga, making a $2.99 comic. So I commend them for that.
I do too, because you look at DC and Marvel. I didn't realize it till the other day. The last Batman book I bought, the fancier covers that I've been buying, they're $1 extra. I know that doesn't mean much, but when
Sure.
we're talking $4.99 to $5.99, it kind of makes you think, well, Saga is longer, I think, than most of these books, and it's half the price.
Yeah.
It's a difference. Even though we're only talking a couple bucks, it matters, especially when you're buying more than one comic per week. But that's a whole other discussion.
Yeah, it's not nothing. It's not the biggest thing in the world, but it's not nothing for sure. And as Grab says in the comments here, crappy comics were $2.99, sure, but one of the biggest comics ever, and one of I think issue 55 is one of the best Saga issues ever, being $2.99. I think that's outstanding.
Well, we might have to start the Saga book club. It seems to be a thing in the comments, and
I see that.
I mean, I kind of want to read it anyway, so maybe that'll be a fun thing we can all do.
Yeah, maybe we'll hook that up. Lauren's got the idea of reading one volume a month until we're all caught up. I think there's 9 volumes. So if I know the next one is out. Issue 56 is out February 23rd. So there's more time to get caught up, Chris and everyone else, and we can. Obviously, we can all talk about it, and maybe we'll start a thread and we'll have a little Saga discussion every once in a while. I know we did that. I did that a while ago. I was rereading Saga before this, and I posted a couple things on my Twitter every once in a while, just some of that odd Saga-ness that is at least in every issue, something weird that's happening. It's just fun to talk about. So that's it for our comics that we got into this week. Chris, what'd you watch this week? Anything?
I watched Superman Lois, of course, which I am still over the moon about. But I'm not going to babble on about that. I do have the show with Zeddy you guys can check out, World's Finest, over at the Vigilante 1939's YouTube channel. You can also just find them on Twitter. I watched that. I loved it. I did watch Boba Fett, the Book of Boba Fett this week, and this is the best episode. This was the best episode of the series so far, in my opinion. Not only in terms of just quality of the story, but it looked the best, and I feel like it was directed the best. Bryce Dallas Howard, I mean, I think she's a fantastic director, and I felt this way after the other stuff she's done. Give her a trilogy of her own if she wants it.
That seems to be the big general consensus you're seeing online right now, is about her getting her own Star Wars property.
Yeah, I'd be totally in for that. She's good at what she does. I mean, we already knew that anyway, but I just, it's also kind of the contrast when we look at it this way, because we've sat through, I'm going to use that term, we've sat through 4 episodes.
Struggled.
Right, of Book of Boba Fett, and then you get Book of Boba Fett, the Mando chapter, and there's a huge difference in quality in every part of it. So
I want to get to that. I've seen the latest episode as well. Let's get into the idea that how this wasn't an issue of the Book of Boba Fett. It was an extension, basically, of season 2 of The Mandalorian.
Yep.
What do you think about that whole thing?
I think it was kind of inevitable.
Yeah. Do you think it was on purpose? Like, I don't know if this was a real thing. Like, were they watching screeners of the Book of Boba Fett? Was Disney watching screeners of the Book of Boba Fett, like saying, "Okay, we need something. We need a change. We need somewhere for this to go. Let's make a change, and let's pivot away from Boba Fett and start making more Mandalorian stuff." Do you think that was on purpose that way, or do you think story-wise this is what they had planned all along?
No, I think this was the plan all along, because I think, like the MCU, they're building a kind of like a cohesive Star Wars universe, and you put Mandalorian, who's arguably one of the most popular Star Wars characters right now, you put him on the show because this is kind of where he belongs anyways, his wheelhouse, So to me, it felt like a natural progression. It was just kind of jarring the way it happens, considering we've had the 4 weeks without him and no mention of him, which I suppose was to let Boba Fett to stand on his own for a while, I guess.
And your last line there, I guess. I don't know what they're doing. Okay, I agree with you that if we're calling this an episode of the Book of Boba Fett, it was the best one yet. I think it's not a coincidence that the best episode didn't have anything to do with Boba Fett and his storyline, and didn't have anything to do with the Tusken Raiders or the flashbacks or even the stuff that's happening at present day with the mayor and all that, the Vespa stuff, any of that stuff, the nonsense. So I don't think that's a coincidence, but I don't know if I guess we'll find out next week, if they continue along with, there's a Mando teasing the stuff that he's got the armor and he's going to go see Grogu and give him armor, which is weird to think about. Yeah, or something. We don't really know what it is. It's a bag full of chain links, it looks like. But I wonder how this progresses going forward. Obviously, we saw Fennec Shane at the end. But are you okay with them to continue this, this trajectory with Mandalorian? With Mando,
absolutely.
Or do you want them? Okay, you're okay with just Boba just being gone, or do you want them to be some kind of cohesiveness between the two of them now?
I mean, I'm okay with like if they do like a Mandalorian team up kind of thing. That's fine with me. I don't mind it. If they do want to go back to Boba Fett, really, like jokes aside, that's fine. I just think that we're at a point where we need to start to understand what this show is for, because at this point, we still don't really. I don't think we know enough of the present to grasp why we're watching this. The past stuff I thought was great. I think if we would have just had 2 episodes of that and then the rest in the present, we would have been better off. But this simultaneous storytelling has not benefited the series as much as I thought it was going to at the start. So going forward, if they can turn the ship around and make Boba Fett, the present day stuff work better, cool. If they can't, just give me Mandalorian back.
Yeah, it's interesting you say that about the the 2 different timelines, and I wonder about the release schedule that they did too. They released 1 at a time, and I wonder if they did 2 or 3 at a time, and they instead of doing the back and forth for every episode, they did 1 episode in the past, go all the way up, and then do another one where it's all the present stuff, and then the 3rd one. And then do the 4th, the 4th episode on its own week, and the 1, 2, 3 being released in 1 at a time. I wonder how that would have affected things. Everyone's doing it. Peacemaker did it with the 3 episodes. We've seen that even the Disney Plus Marvel shows have done the 2 and 3 episode thing. So I wonder about why Boba Fett didn't do that. I wonder if it's just because of scheduling. But I wondered how it would have worked storytelling wise if they did it more than. Did the 1 and 2, 3, or just 1 and 2? Do you think that would have helped with those first couple episodes of Boba?
It probably would have. I think that's actually not a bad idea. But I think part of it is, and this is just my own theory, I think they want their schedules to be MCU series, Star Wars series, MCU series. They want to go back and forth. And I don't think that the MCU series was ready yet when they were scheduling things. So they kind of played this one by ear, and that's why we get the 1 episode. That's just my guess, though.
And so, now there is going to be a break for a while. How many episodes of Boba left?
I keep forgetting it.
The next one's 5.
Is it 7 episodes total?
So that means, and we think the next TV show would be March 30th with Moon Knight.
Right, that's the next one.
Well, there is going to be a break in between, so it's going to be interesting how it all ends and how they draw it out, and how they schedule this Mandalorian and Boba Fett and what it leads into. Like I said, we're wondering where it all goes. Zeddy in the comments says 7 episodes, so that means there's 3 left.
3.
It'll be interesting.
This was the 5th
or was
episode.
This one just 5? So there's 2 left. 6 and 7 left. So 2 weeks left. It'll be interesting what they lead into. Are we leading into Mando season 3? Is there going to be an Ahsoka mention?
That'd be cool.
We saw Ahsoka in season 2 of Mandalorian, and we know that she's coming up. And then Obi-Wan Kenobi. We'll see where that goes. Mandalorian season 3 isn't the next Star Wars property. There's still 3 more becoming before that, I think, with Andor, Kenobi, and Ahsoka. Year? Well, I know it's coming before season 3 of Mandalorian.
Okay, I think Mandalorian is like later, like Christmas or October to December at some point. Okay. But I don't think Ahsoka is this year.
Oh, really? Okay, so maybe I'm wrong, but it'll be interesting how they lead it. Sure. That's very highly possible that could be the thing. So we know that the big surprise after the Mandalorian season 2 was the Book of Boba Fett reveal. I wonder what the big reveal is for this one. what we're going to lead into next. And, we got 2 episodes left, and, I think it's going to be a Mando show with a little bit of Boba mixed in. Zeddy in the comments says that it's a prime example of Boba not being him being a better supporting character rather than leading his own show. So maybe that's going to be the thing at the latter half of the season, is that Boba is kind of moving off to the side, and the grander story of Mandalorian and Grogu are going to take over. So it's going to be pretty interesting to see how, especially if they salvage the series, because one good episode out of 5 doesn't make a good season for me. Even if it was a really, really good episode, I'll still have a negative taste in my mouth, or a bad taste in my mouth for those first 4 episodes. So yeah, I'm excited to see where it goes from here for sure.
I didn't hate the first 4 episodes though. I liked 1 and 2. 3 was okay. 4 I just had a problem sitting through. So I'm kind of like half, I guess, almost 50-50 on it.
I think I liked the 1 out of the 4. It was just the train episode.
That was cool.
That was my favorite one, and it just kind of became blah. We talked about that last week when we finally first got into Obi-Wan Kenobi. So how about movies? Did you watch any movies this week?
No, actually I didn't. I don't think I did. Did I?
No movies, eh? I was about the same. I didn't watch any movies this week either. I was stuck in TV land.
Euphoria kind of took up. Whenever I sat down to watch something, I was watching Euphoria.
Yeah, I watched the first first 7 episodes of Ozark on Netflix with Jason Bateman and Laura Linney, and it's a really good show. Chris, I don't think you've seen it.
No,
it's like Breaking Bad almost, and I know you were kind of late to the party with Breaking Bad as well. So if you're interested in that kind of story again, you should definitely check out Ozark. It's great. And I started watching, or I didn't start watching, but I continued watching 1883.
What's that?
It's the cowboy show with Tim McGraw and Faith Hill.
Didn't know that existed.
It's a prequel series to Yellowstone, the Kevin Costner TV show.
Oh, okay.
Tim McGraw plays Kevin Costner's great grandfather, I think. So it's about the Dutton family, which is Kevin Costner's John Dutton, making their stake in Montana in the Old West, 1883. It's got Sam Elliott in it because
cool.
It's a cowboy show, so of course it has Sam Elliott in it.
Yeah.
It's on Paramount Plus streaming service. I definitely check it out. Zeddy in the comments, I know, is a big Yellowstone guy. Yellowstone, one of the most popular shows that no one talks about because everyone over 50 watches it and they don't tweet about it on the internet. So if you haven't watched Yellowstone, I definitely recommend that. But 1883 is a better show. Season 1, I've just finished episode 4. It's better than season 1 of the Yellowstone, which is also its best season. I was also really worried about Tim McGraw and Faith Hill being in it.
I was kind of curious about that. What is that?
Yeah. So I thought it was going to be really, really distracting. I'd only seen Tim McGraw in one thing, which was The Blind Side with Sandra Bullock, and he was fine in that. But he's really got a starring role in this one. But they're not distracting at all. They're very good. They're given great material. They're not asked to do too much because, they are, musicians at heart. They're not, actors per se, but they feel right at home with what they're given. It's a great show. It's about, family, legacy, and a lot of loss, a whole crap ton of loss. Sam Elliott's crying in every episode or beating the crap out of somebody with the butt of his gun.
That doesn't sound bad. I think
no, it doesn't sound good. So if you're into if you're into Westerns, even if you're not into Westerns, it's a really good show. I'm hooked on it. Taylor Sheridan is the one who created it. He created Yellowstone as well. He also created the show The Mayor of Kingstown with Jeremy Renner. That's out now too. It's a really good show. But Taylor Sheridan wrote and directed Wind River with Elizabeth Olsen. And Jeremy Renner again. It's a great movie. He did Hell or High Water with Chris Pine. And
I've heard that's great.
Ben, what's his name? I can't remember his name.
Angel from X-Men?
Yeah, that's right. That's exactly who it is.
I can't ever remember his last name, but I know it's Angel from X-Men 3.
That's right. I know his name's Ben. I can't remember his last name. Anyway, so that's what I got into this week. More TV show. Binged part 1 of Ozarks just to get it over with. And now I don't know how long I have to wait until season or the second half of this season. It's the final season. And that was pretty much it. Saga took up most of my my week, and I didn't really feel like reading too much else. Not that anything was really grabbing my attention anyways. Start of the year for comics is usually not the hottest. The biggest titles. They've been solid for sure. Just nothing's really grabbed me and really grabbed my attention big wise. The big two. I know we've been talking about indie stuff more lately on the 4 episodes that we've done so far. So that's kind of a cool trend that we've got going on. But the big two haven't really been grabbing me my attention too much. That's not a bad thing either. But
they will.
Yes. I'm sure they will.
You should check out that Wolverine book.
I think I will. Just to see what it's about.
It's interesting. You might need a little catch up, but it's interesting.
See, that's what I'm worried about.
Not the condiment. I'll have to tell you about it.
I'm worried about that. I'm worried about that Krakoa ketchup that I have to do.
Yeah. Well, because hypothetically, you kind of need to read Inferno, but we can just catch up on it. Grab was asking about Human Target. This is on my list because I've been hearing about it. Mm-hmm. Have you read this yet, Emmett?
I read the first 2, I think, and I kind of just stopped after that. Okay. Tom King sometimes is a lot of work just to get through he's such a serious writer, not in the material or the subject matter. Sometimes he's a goof. Sometimes he's stupid and funny. But he's just, it takes a lot of my attention to read a Tom King issue sometimes. Human Target, no different because of how good it is. And it's beyond good. It's so good.
I have to check it. It's on my list, but I just haven't got to it yet. That I still haven't read King of Spies #2 yet either.
I forgot. I forgot to pick that one up after again how good issue 1 was. I kind of lost where issue 2 came out. When was that?
Issue 2 was out the week before, I think. I think it was the week before. Yeah, I've just been getting sidetracked with other stuff. I decided to read the Lemire Moon Knight run again. That was fun. I read some X-Men stuff, some random indies. So I've been reading just a bunch of crap, and I, forgetting certain stuff. I still have not read Imposter or Robin and Batman.
That's nuts that you haven't read The Imposter yet. I'm surprised you haven't got around to that one yet.
I will say tonight is the night, but it's probably not.
Yeah, it's not. No, just don't lie to yourself.
No, I want to watch Peacemaker because I still didn't get to do that this week.
I didn't do that either. I was going to last night. I was going to watch Peacemaker, and then I was going to watch Superman and Lois. But my power went out at 6:00, and it didn't come back on again until 11. So I didn't get a chance to watch either. I watched Superman and Lois this afternoon, but I didn't get a chance to watch Peacemaker. Hopefully, I can watch it tomorrow night.
Yeah, Peacemaker's. I'm sure it's great. It's been good.
Yeah, I have no doubt that it is. Yeah.
So I want to get to that, and I kind of want to rewatch Logan.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I think I want to rewatch.
What's bringing that on?
I just love Wolverine.
Sure.
I just think it's time to reread. And plus, I read the Wolverine books. Like, hey, you know what? It's time.
It's time. Yeah.
It's been a little while. Let's revisit this.
When I watched it, I think I watched it early last year. I forgot how good it was. Damn, it's a good movie.
My only complaint is the ending.
Him dying?
Kind of.
Why?
Well, because I feel like out of all the Hugh Jackman performances we got, which were all good, I don't complain on any of them. Even Origins, he's fine. Mm-hmm. But I feel like they didn't do a lot of stuff with him that I as a fan wanted to see. Like we never got Omega Red. The most meaningful version of Sabretooth we had was in Origins, and they're like buddies at the end.
Yeah.
So I don't know. It just kind of felt like, oh, okay, so we're ending here. We just fast forward to Old Man Logan and forget all the in between.
I get that. We can always hope that Kevin Feige brings about a new Wolverine tale, a young Wolverine.
Lauren's asking when I'm doing a Logan cosplay. I kind of do that every day. When I wear my denim jacket, I was at a birthday party the other night. Like, I didn't know you liked denim. Like, well, I'm trying to be Wolverine. So,
He's my spirit animal. Okay,
right. He kind of is. Cigars, denim jacket. I wear a lot of flannel. It works.
that's right. What else do you need to become Logan?
Probably just the attitude, which I don't really have, but we're working
Yeah, I
on
was gonna say
it.
you don't have the jerky attitude.
No, we'll work on it though. I did buy a Ted Lasso shirt today, so that kind of offsets it too.
What was
You
on
know,
the shirt?
it just said it's believe. It's the sign believe.
Oh,
So
you can just wear that all the time instead
that's
of
gonna
holding up a
that's
piece
gonna
of paper.
offset my Logan cosplay. Well, actually, I guess that's the Fox Logan. He is gentler in
That's right.
Fox's movies. You know, it's a work in progress.
Everything's a work in progress. Okay, guys, that's what we read and watched this week. Let us know in the comments. We've already got some good ones in there, guys, but let us know what else you've been up to. So our poll from last week, we wanted to know about, a little bit about comic accuracy or complete accuracy in anything, in movies, TV shows. So how do you prefer to see your favorite characters and stories from comics, novels, games, etc., adapted to film or TV? Do you need complete accuracy, or can we just throw on some makeup and call him the Joker? So we had 4 options that, I was actually really surprised about this one, Chris. I was surprised about the runaway winner. People just wanted to see a good story.
Yeah, surprised by that too.
One at 79%. Accuracy matters most. Keep what works, and what you guys read, all tied at 6.9%.
For a second, I forgot that was one of the choices, and I was like, "What did I put?"
Yeah.
I was like, "What did I miss?"
Yeah. I was thinking maybe you couldn't think of a 4th option, so then you just put,
No,
wait, you guys read?
That's fun. Did anybody
So what
vote
do
for
you?
that?
What's that?
Did anybody pick that option?
Well, 6.9% of somebody did. So
All right, there we go.
yeah. So what do you think, Chris? What do you think about the idea that, somebody can come into maybe one of your favorite properties, or maybe not your favorite properties, and put their own spin on things? Or do they have to keep what has always been and should be?
So this is kind of a tricky question, I think, because there's several projects being filmed or coming out soon that I'm interested in. Most of them are adaptations. So you look at one end of the spectrum with like the Batman, where it looks like it's going to be very comic book accurate. I'm all in on that. But then on the other side of the spectrum, you have the new Interview with the Vampire TV series that's coming, which looks like they're just taking the characters' names and slapping on some actors and doing their own story.
That's right.
So I kind of look at it as, yeah, I want a good story, but at the same time, I want to. I see that, Eric. I want to know that these are the characters I'm familiar with, or like, to give an example, in the Interview with the Vampire TV series, they've moved the timeline up to, I think it's 1910 now is when it starts.
Okay.
1910 or 1920. Louis is no longer a plantation owner. He is now a owner of a brothel.
Yep.
Which is a very jarring thing to do with him.
Yeah.
I don't really care for that. And then they've also cast like his entire family. Don't really know what that's about either. They've cast Claudia as an adult actress. Okay. So the point I'm making is I like a mix. If I can get some accuracy and a good story, I'm happy. Even when something doesn't look the most accurate, I'm going to give it a chance. Just like that series, I'm going to give it a chance. If I like it, I like it. But for me, it really does come down to just tell me a good story, I guess. At the end of the day, as long as I like it, I'm happy.
Yeah, so the 2 things that you mentioned to me there were the Batman and Interview with the Vampire, 2 of your most favorite things.
Right.
And I think that's, mostly where it comes down to when we do care. If we don't care as much about the IP or their property, do whatever the hell you want for it, as long as the story is good. But if something, is such, close to your heart and, close to your, your mentality, basically you view as a fan, like Interview with the Vampire is for you, changing things, I can totally understand how that would, upset you or make you worry about what is to come. I understand that for sure.
Yeah, and I think that's the spectrum that we kind of deal with. Because in the case of, again, the Batman, it's Batman. They're not changing everything about it. They're going to have their own takes, but it's still Batman at the end of the day. That's the thing with most comic book properties. But then you look at like other book adaptations, and they do try to reinvent the wheel. So that's really when it comes to, is this even a good story anymore? And if it is a good story, why did they take, you know, the source material and just kind of chuck it?
Mm-hmm.
Why didn't you just do your own thing? You know?
Yeah, I like that idea. Well, like, why does it have to be, exactly what you want? Why can't you take the one thing? Like, if you like one story from something, it's like, oh, I like that idea, but I hate, 85% of the idea of the character or
Mhm.
the accuracy of the character. Let's just change it. Well, why don't you just make something completely different then? And when you see something as it should be, that feeling is kind of an unmatched feeling as well. Like or not recently, but at DC fandom, we saw our first look at Black Manta
Yeah.
for Aquaman 2. He looks exactly like like he does in the comic books, and it's kind of a rejoiceful moment where like, aha, they did it.
Hmm.
They didn't screw it up. They didn't make him put a different helmet on him, or they didn't change it in some way. They just made it exactly how it looks in the comics. And I think they're you know you also have to take in the idea that you have to embrace it. You have to embrace that this guy's wearing a giant helmet on his head that looks like giant bug eyes.
Right.
You have to kind of accept that the fans who care about this stuff, they care about that helmet because it's been his helmet for however many years. When you take it to the flip side, when you do the bad, and Eric Summers in the comments is taking me exactly where I want to go with the Huntress thing in
Yeah.
Birds of Prey. Basically, the entire character, any character in Birds of Prey. There's Cassandra Cain, even Black Canary or Huntress. They don't look like how they are portrayed or have always been portrayed in the comic books or in TV shows or what have you. So, it's a give and take about our favorite characters or who we think are our favorite characters, our favorite properties, and how they either take the twist on it where I want to do something different like they do with Birds of Prey, and then with Aquaman, I want to do it exactly like it is in the comic book. So, everyone does it a different way. There's even the complete accuracy, the 100% accuracy is changed a little bit. Nothing. I don't even know. Maybe you can answer if anything translate 100% over. It'd be hard to tell, like if something is exactly 100% how it is in comic books or old TV shows or cartoons or anything like that. I think there's always a need for a little bit of a tweak.
Well, some things just can't translate, and that's kind of just the way it is. There's a lot of stuff that you just cannot put on a screen, whether it's you need too much character buildup or it just doesn't look good. Like again, Wolverine. I love Wolverine. I don't need to see him in yellow spandex on screen. I don't need it.
Right.
If he's in yellow armor of some sort, okay, let's see how it looks, I guess. But I
Mm-hmm.
know that's not going to work that well. And I think that's like Eric said, and I think it's a common thing. There has to be a balance, I think, between having a vision that works and obliterating the source material.
Mm-hmm.
There needs to be some kind of balance for a fan. Now, if you're not a fan of the property, to begin with, like if you're a newcomer or you just want to see what it is, yeah, that's
Mm-hmm.
awesome because you might find the version you like the best. It might set the bar for you, and that's great. Like someone who watches Birds of Prey, for example, maybe they've never seen Huntress or they don't know who Black
Right.
Canary is. They
Mm-hmm.
watch that and say, "Oh, this is amazing! I need to go see what else there is." Or maybe they like Ewan McGregor's Black Mask and they find,
Mm-hmm.
"Oh, wait a minute, this is kind of jarring now."
Yep.
You know,
Yeah. One of the
any,
biggest things. Sorry, Chris. Go ahead.
I was going to say anything that gets people once they like it enough, if they want to go back and look at the source material, I think that's still a win, no matter what it is.
Yeah, and I wonder if that's the real reason for the changes, the alterations of something that's true blue. Are they trying to open it up to a wider audience?
Mm-hmm.
Is that really what we think the intention or what the intention should be?
Yeah, I
I
think
think so
so.
too.
I think we talked about this before, but you have to welcome new fans to anything. If you're not
Hmm.
welcoming new fans, then you're missing the point.
Hmm.
That's the way I look
And
at it.
yeah, and I think and overall, if they're telling a good story, as long as it works out in the end, I'm okay with whatever they want to do.
Right.
And it's an interesting thing. The poster behind me, Watchmen, Zack Snyder changed one of the biggest things about the comic books with the ending with the alien that comes through, right?
Mm-hmm.
and how much that worked for the movie, and how, you know, for so many years, you know, the comic book that was deemed unfilmable, and one of the reasons was because of the ending, how they changed it for Watchmen and how much it worked with the changing. But then fast forward to the TV show, where they left the idea of it's a sequel to the book, not to the movie, how they left the idea of this squid in to the TV show, and how that worked too. So there's no right or wrong way to do it. As long as it's good, it'll that's how it'll work. That's how it wins, is if it's good.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but isn't Sin City pretty accurate as well?
The movie is incredibly accurate. It's basically panel for panel sometimes.
That's what I heard, but I you know, I'm not really a big Frank Miller guy, so I never wanted to read Sin City, but I do kind of like the movie.
Yeah, I recommend reading the Sin City series. It's outstanding. And yeah, there's parts from The Yellow Bastard, A Hard Goodbye, and A Dame to Kill For, which are panel for panel, like perfect shots from the comics. And that's how they, you know, they change some things, but like the dialogue, and the paneling is, yeah, it's word for word and panel for panel sometimes.
It's pretty cool, actually.
It is cool.
I may read it one day, but I don't know. It's like Frank Miller. I don't know.
Yeah, no,
Grabs
it's
has
hard
a question.
to get past it sometimes.
Brings up a point. Has a question. Sometimes it's the actors, actresses. Didn't Halle Berry demand more screen time for Storm in the movies, taking away from the Phoenix? Yes, that is like a behind the scenes rumor. I was actually reading something the other night. I forgot when. I was watching X-Men: The Last Stand for some reason. It was one of those movies I just put on the background, and I was watching it like here and there. Which, by the way, the Danger Room sequence is better than all 2 hours of X-Men Apocalypse. I said what I said.
Ooh.
But anyway, yes, Halle Berry almost didn't do X-Men 3 because she was tired of being a background character. And then to get her to sign on, they said, okay, well, now you're going to be leader of the team, basically.
Yeah,
so,
yes. Killed off Scott, right?
Yeah. So that is a thing, yeah. The actors do want certain things. Or even Margot Robbie with Birds of Prey, that's kind of like her baby.
Right.
And it is the way it is, a lot of because of what she suggested, I'm sure.
Yeah.
You know, she was the star, producer, and everything.
Yeah, she wanted to make it her own way and make it accessible to a lot of different people, or they tried to make it more accessible to the non-comic book people, I think. And, you know, some say it worked and some say it didn't, I guess.
I like it.
I like it too.
Works for me.
Yeah. So that is our poll for last week, guys. We did not do a poll for this week. Well, we kind of did.
We did. I forgot today.
You didn't do the poll today, but we still do have a poll up on our Twitter account right now, guys. And we want to know how you want to consume our show. Do you like just watching on the YouTube, in the live version, or do you want it in an audio version as well? So if you're watching right now or you're watching later, let us know how you want to consume our stuff going forward.
We may still have something scientific coming anyway. We'll see.
Yeah, Chris will be upset that he forgot that.
I completely forgot. It's been a day. I completely forgot.
About an hour before our show, I went to look at it, and I'm like, oh, Chris didn't do it. I guess he wasn't feeling this one. I didn't want to really.
You know, we'll go with that.
Yeah. So that's it for the poll. Not much to talk about for the poll this week, guys. But what we do want to talk about. And it's kind of something that blends into last week. It blends into the week before. And that's the idea about hype, about building something up in your head so much that it either hurts for you or makes it better. Chris, we're talking about the Batman constantly. We were talking about Batgirl and how excited we were for that, for about leaks, hyping ourselves up for a suit pick for Leslie Grace's Batgirl. There's no bigger movie that's coming out in the next 2 months, month and a half than the Batman. Tickets go on sale February 10th. That's going to be an important day just to look forward to that. Any piece of the Batman that comes out, we are all over, unless you're not watching it, which is what Chris is doing. He's shutting himself off. But that doesn't mean that he's not hyped up for
Just saying.
hyped up for Batman. So, Chris, how do you control your hype? Do you control your hype? Do you think hype affects how you consume the product after you've seen it?
I think hype is it's a beast. It really is, because the way I think a lot of us consume media in general, because on Twitter it's constantly being talked about. It's hard to avoid. Now, if you're not on Twitter or Instagram or Facebook, which to me is rocket science, but if you're not on social media, I think it's easier for you to avoid these type of things. But when you are, and you're into it like we are, it's constantly around. And so you just kind of get caught up in it sometimes. And I believe the problem with it can be that we build it up so much in our minds that it's got to have this, it's got to be that. Nothing else will do if it falls short of this. Well, I'm not going to like it. If Wolverine doesn't say bub, well, then I'm walking out of the theater.
Yeah.
If the Batman doesn't ask where something is, I'm walking out of the theater. These are things that I think we hype up as fans. And it's best not to get caught up in the hype, but it's hard not to. Plus, the hype is some of the fun.
That's the thing. It's very hard not to get excited for things you're excited about. Exciting things are exciting. So to try and then, not to be excited, that also affects your enjoyment of something as well. Saying, okay, I shouldn't think about this. I shouldn't get myself excited, because then I don't want to overhype it where it can't meet my expectations. That's a very hard thing. Hype is good. I think that's what we as fans, that's why we talk about things all the time. In our group chat, Chris, we talk about things. We are hyped about things. That's what we bond over. That's what everyone here in these comments are, bonding over. And I think Grabs hits it right on the head. Being excited for something makes all the sense in the world, but being unrealistic with expectations about what those characters are then going to do in said movie or TV show or comic book, I think that's where you get hurt. It's
So
putting unrealistic expectations in your own head.
I shouldn't walk out if he doesn't say bub, I guess.
Exactly. You shouldn't go into something that you're excited about and build a hype in your head that if something doesn't happen in this, I will be upset.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's the wrong way of doing it. But being excited, saying Leslie Grace's Batgirl looks awesome. I really hope, I love it. I hope it leads into everything that I want it to be, and I hope it's the biggest movie in the whole wide world. I think that stuff's great. I think being excited for things, being hyped for things, is what keeps fans going. It keeps keeps us coming back for more, keeps us buying those tickets. As Zeddy says in the comments, he's buying all the tickets in the world for the Batman opening. He's buying his entire row just so he can say that he did it, I guess. But, being excited about things is great. And wanting more things is great. Wanting things to be good is great. I see no issue with that whatsoever.
No, I agree. It's fun. It really is. It's fun to wait for the new trailer or the new poster and to get that first glimpse. And, this is another thing. As fans, we didn't have this kind of environment, let's say 10 years ago or 15 years ago. Even, let's say, when the Spider-Man movies were coming out, the Raimi ones, and was it 2002, I think, is the first one?
Yeah.
I might be wrong on that. But, you didn't have a community to say, hey, did you guys see the poster? Hey, did you watch the trailer yet? Did you see Green Goblin's look? We didn't have that. Now we do, and it's great to take advantage of that and enjoy it with each other,
And the marketing and, the studios, they know that. They know we get ourselves hyped. They know a little, 10-second clip of Robert Pattinson standing in his suit with red and black and some, music over top of it. They know that will get us idiots hyped up for an entire year or however long it's.
When
exactly.
That release, I was like, look at the collar, it's badass.
Exactly. Like, and they understand hype too, and then and they know how to manipulate it as well.
It's a tool.
It's a tool. Exactly right. So it's a hype tool. Change hype engine. Confused by that.
Isn't that the Man of Steel thing?
Yeah, change engine. Yeah. Yeah. So I have no problem with that, but I also understand that putting too much hype on something might affect it as well. And I think we might have talked about this a while ago before the Batman trailer started to come out. If we were putting too much emphasis on it, and this idea about box office is another thing. If we're putting too many expectations, I think we have to put a line between what expectations are and what hype and excitement is as well. And I wonder if that needs to be a conversation about, separating the two. And I think that's an important conversation as well.
It is, but I think when we're talking, just you and I, it's hard to separate expectations and hype these days because you are so excited for something and you want it to be good, and there's things that you want to see as a fan. And I think that just goes with the territory.
Yeah, I think you do have to accept that, and like you said, we were talking about before, studios know this. They know they're trying to overhype us sometimes. So controlling ourselves, being like, okay, I know what they're trying to do. And, with trailers, they use it as a tool, and they sometimes use it as a misdirection tool. Marvel is pretty famous for this, for showing things in their trailers that aren't in movies to get us more hype for things. They use it against us in some way. Which is an interesting conversation to have about that as well. About studios using hype as a tool and sometimes lying to us with hype.
I also think it's fun when you have some low expectations for something, and then you go in and see it, and you absolutely love it. That's what happened to me with Ghostbusters Afterlife. Right. I had really low expectations because I didn't like the trailers. I didn't like what I heard about the movie, but then when I saw it, I was in love with it. It's one of my favorite movies of last year, but I did not expect to enjoy it, anywhere near as much as I did.
Yeah, and on the flip side of that, being overly hyped for it as myself, and then when the credits rolled, being like in a sense of relief, being like, oh, thank God this movie was good. Because if it was bad and I didn't like it, how upset I would have been, because I built it up so much in my head. So there's the duality and the two-sided coin to that conversation as well. Like you put it in the title, Chris. Hype is a beast. It's a scary one.
It can be.
Yeah,
it can be scary, but it's fun still. It's part of it.
Sure.
I don't. And again, we have the community to share it with each other. So why not? And I think that's the best part about it. We could share these things and talk about it and just have a good time together. I mean, that's why we do the show. We just get the bullshit about stuff.
Yeah, bullshit about things we're excited about. We spent the first half hour of the show talking about things we were excited about from this past week. So let's end the show, actually, Chris, with what we're excited about coming up this week. Anything caught your eye that's coming out this week that you're excited about?
I don't even know what's coming out comics-wise. I'm excited for the Book of Boba Fett. I am looking for another episode of Superman and Lois, of course. And actually, Ghostbusters is on in 4K this week, so I'm looking forward to picking that up.
Oh,
Grabs,
awesome.
Grabs says I sound like I was anti-Ghostbusters. I'm not. I love Ghostbusters, so I had to see it, but I just didn't have high expectations. But yeah, I think that's all I'm really looking forward to. I don't really know what's coming out comic-wise this week. I haven't.
Yeah, I'm looking at the list right now. There's the new X Lies of Wolverine.
Okay, I'll be reading that.
Is coming. Is out. You haven't caught up on Dark Knights of Steel yet, but issue number 4 is coming out.
I bought them all, but I haven't read them.
And then also there's the 80-page Geiger number 1 that kind of breathes life into the expansion of this Mad Ghost Studios universe that Jeff Johns and Co are creating. So that's coming out this week. So hopefully we get some more insight into what's next for the Geigerverse. And Eric, I think he's the second time he's mentioned Detective Comics. I think he's a big fan. Big fan, for sure. And who's not of Detective Comics for sure. Juan, is that true about Taylor Sheridan co-creating Gilmore Girls? I'm going to have to look that up. If it is, I'll have to tell my wife. She'll love that.
When you say Taylor Sheridan, I keep thinking Tyler Sheridan, who played Cyclops.
Yeah, not him.
Yeah, I know, but that's why my mind keeps going like, oh, Cyclops did something. Wait, no, he didn't.
No, he didn't. No, he didn't.
Grab says New Burn is coming. I'm not sure what that is.
Yeah, it's an Image comic. Written by Zdarsky? Grabs, it might be. It's kind of a neo-noir type of story. It's pretty good. Yep.
Grabs actually mentioned a book to me last night. It's about Santa Claus is an immortal being looking for his naughty list.
What?
It sounds really cool. So I'm gonna have to check that out in April.
Yeah, that sounds bananas.
Yeah, I'll send you the link to it. Grab showed it to me last night. It looks pretty cool.
Nice.
And it is Zdarsky. Lauren and Grab's confirmed.
Cool.
For New Zealand.
Yeah, so I'm actually excited. I'm going to be because I didn't watch Peacemaker last week. I'll be watching 2 episodes of Peacemaker this week, which is kind of a cool thing. And yeah, I'm excited to see where Superman and Lois is going. Like you said, you and Zeddy have the World's Finest that you guys do over on the Vigilante 1939 YouTube channel. So make sure everyone who's watching this, make sure you head over there right after this show and hit some like buttons on that as well. They kind of took a turn with the thing that was underneath the mine. Went into a very interesting place.
It's a bizarre place.
A very bizarre place. Yeah. I'm interested to see where that goes for sure.
So next week, do you think you should try British accents like the Moon Knight trailer?
No.
Okay.
No,
okay.
I'm terrible at impersonations, accents, everything.
I just thought I'd ask.
No. That's
Okay.
we're putting that one to bed, my friend.
Okay. I agree. We'll let it sleep.
Yeah, that's right. Okay, so that's what we got coming up for this week. Like I kind of mentioned, comics are a little slow. They're kind of just coming out. There's no the big things are still yet to come, stuff we don't know about. I think that's the same with the movies. Spidey No Way Home is still dominating the box office.
It's creeping up on, is it Avatar? I saw. I think it's
I don't know.
24 million from Avatar.
Craziness, man.
Yeah, it's nuts. People are eating this movie, and rightfully so. It's awful. I love it.
Mm-hmm.
I know you don't love it, but I'm a big fan.
That's okay. Did you see Scream?
I have not seen Scream yet.
Okay, yeah. So our movie theaters open up tomorrow, actually. So I'm hoping to see Scream probably sometime, hopefully by the end of the week, with a friend of mine. So
I'm gonna try to get to it. I'm gonna try to get to it this week, but I'm not positive. We'll see how it goes. But I'd like to see it. I'm a big Scream fan. So.
Right on. All right, Chris. Let's head on out of here, man. Hit us up with some plugs.
Hey, you guys can follow me on Twitter at thatchris70. As you can see, it's conveniently painted right here now instead of the text box. Thank you, Cindy, again for that.
Mm-hmm.
But I would prefer you guys follow us at G of the Geeks on Twitter and subscribe to the YouTube channel if you haven't already. And if you like it, give us a like. That'd be cool too. You don't have to, but we'd appreciate it. Something about the algorithm and whatnot. Emmett knows how to explain it.
Oh, yeah. Thanks for laying that one up for me, big fella.
You're welcome.
I have no idea how to explain it, so I just want to say thank you to everyone in the comments for checking us out. Juan, Zeddy, Lauren, Grabs, Eric. Al was in the comments for a minute. Cookie, DC Patrol. Yeah. I think that's everyone. Thanks so much, guys. And if you're watching right now, if you haven't voted for the poll, let us know. If you want the audio version, we can for sure keep putting that out for you guys. If not, we also just, we like doing the Sunday show. It's fun hanging out, like Lauren says. Chris already said it. Be sure to follow us on Twitter at G of the Geeks. And saying all that, for Chris, myself, we gather on Sundays.
We gather on Sunday. That's a fun outro. We're going to stick with that.
I'm going to, yeah.